Hello, I'm David Sheston and welcome to ASUG News. I'm from ASUG headquarters, and today we're going to talk about an influence council, the Service Parts Management Influence Council, and I have with me Carrie Thompson with Ford. She's been with Ford for 14 years and was prior with GM for 8, and she is a global program manager. And also we have Mark Fishwick, and he has been with GM for 10 years and was prior with Ford for 12 years before that, kind of reversing roles. And he is the global supply chain SAP. So, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
And I wanted to bring these two in and have a little chat with them because they started a new influence council just at the end of last year, the Service Parts Management. It has about 50 members, and they're very active, and they have a monthly call. So why don't you just, you guys tell me about why you decided to create an influence council?
Sure, I'll start. The Service Parts Management solution, if you compare it to any other SAP solution that everybody knows about today, is still relatively new. If you look at the implementation base and how many customers are actually using the solution, there's still very few of us out there. So as we wanted to grab some more synergies with those that are using the product, we thought it would be a great opportunity to pull that customer base together, share some of our experiences and learnings, but also try and see if there were any synergies in terms of what we were looking for in the product that may not exist today.
Great.
And I just agree with that, echo those comments. I mean, we're just a very new group. These are new products from SAP that haven't been around for a long time. So there's some real opportunities with the software and getting a diverse group of individuals and companies together to help promote, enhancements is the way to go, we thought.
And even though the solution might be new, but you have experience on previous influence councils.
Yes, and a little bit in this space as well. Back when we started the SPM journey with SAP and Caterpillar, we did at one time have an SPP Influence Council, and I think we did a 12 to 18 month cycle, and actually had some pretty positive results for being such an early product. There were maybe 3 or 4 customers that were heavily involved, again, because it was early, but we did get a lot of input from those who were interested in the product. And as a result of that Influence Council, I recall maybe a list of 10 to 15 different development opportunities where having SAP involved back then and having the concerted voice of the customer base, they came back with probably at least 50 to 75% of those as committed to being delivered into the standard product. So right off the bat, we saw the power of that influence. And unfortunately, as that cycle of the Influence Council ended, there wasn't another forum for that SPM communication. Hence why we wanted to do this Influence Council.
Right. And then we another person that we are missing today is Brian Charnock from the SAP Point of Contact. And how did you guys connect with him to help form this council?
Well, I think it was somebody through ASUG. I know you were heavily involved in the beginning, helped hook us up with Brian. And because it's such a small user base right now, we didn't know everybody that was out there. But between Brian and ASUG, we were able to get a list of companies that would be interested. The solicitation, the support from ASUG was very helpful in getting those companies and those contacts. And then we just basically sent out emails, who's interested, got the interested parties back from us, and we've been off and running now for only a few months.
Right.
The positive thing with Brian being involved as well is he's got a long history with the SPM product. He's one of the SAP team members that had been involved in the development phase with Ford and Caterpillar from day one. So he's got a long history of the product. So as we talk about what we're looking for from a business requirements perspective, he understands it. So
he understands your business needs and functions.
Yeah, it's very helpful.
Great. Yeah, because you guys provided an area and a list of people that would be interested in being involved, and I think ASUG then reached out to those companies that were, especially the members, and enlisted them to join. And you guys had a pretty successful launch. Not sure exact number how many people participated, but it was a good launch right around Christmas time.
Yeah, just before Christmas, we did a kickoff more as an introduction to those who wanted to know more about service parts management to see if they would be interested in participating in the survey or in the Influence Council. And then it was just after the new year that we had our official kickoff meeting for those who had kind of expressed their interest in the participation survey, were selected to the council based on their use of the product. And we've been off and running since then.
Yeah.
Now, we only have about 12 companies involved so far, but if you consider there's only less than 50 companies using our product. Our percentage is high, but our use isn't.
Right.
We'd like to encourage more as the product gets further with SAP.
And I know we've added a few more participants almost every month as we go along. There's more people are interested, and we get a list to add to the roster.
Yep.
And quite a representation of the cross industry too. I mean, we've got any companies from automotive to high tech. We've got heavy machinery and equipment, aerospace and defense. We even have some of the SAP partner consulting companies joined. So,
Okay.
so it's a great representation.
So you do have some partners
Yes.
in the group.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
That's great. So what, are most of these companies large companies, or do you have any smaller sales companies?
Yeah, I'd say most of them are larger size. I mean, obviously, General Motors and Ford are very large companies.
We might have heard of them.
Yeah, you've heard of them. In fact, most of the companies across, you've heard of the names.
Yes.
The product itself being new is somewhat for larger companies, but I think it would fit with smaller applications as well. And we encourage some smaller companies to join our council if they're using the software.
Absolutely.
And so what other benefits? You've connected with your peers a little bit more, worked through some.
That was actually an unexpected benefit for me. I assumed we were all coming together to share where we saw gaps in the new product, right? And we were going to talk about how then to influence SAP to adopt some of that into the standard product. But actually, through a lot of our discussions, as we were collecting topics from the groups, there was a lot of sharings of implementation experience. And if there was a particular gap identified on the list, maybe another company had found a way to solve it already. So it was actually a great way to exchange some lessons learned and some other experiences that were able to maybe alleviate something that we thought was a gap that no longer is.
Yeah,
Share that.
I mean, for example, we listed out our top 5 gaps in the product that we thought, and right away another company jumped on 2 of those and said, well, we solved it this way. So right away, okay, great, there's a way to solve 2 of those, we'll take those off the list. So it was really nice learning.
We found that of the participating companies, everybody seems to be at a different phase in their implementation. When we talk about SPM, we're really talking about the integrated solution of SPP, EWM, and CRM. Well, different companies have chosen different implementation strategies. So they may be starting with one module and going in a different sequence, or they might be doing them all together. And just those experiences in different implementation approach have really created a varied perspective on what the product can do, because we're using them in different ways.
That is probably one of the reasons for the great participation this council has, is that you're each learning so much from each other in the sessions and the workarounds and how to really take advantage of the solution, right? And so what phase are we in right now in the council?
So I guess right now we've gathered requirements from all the companies and we've ranked them. So we've said, in the core SPP module, what's your biggest want or need? And outside of the SPP module, within the SCM space, what's your biggest want or need? And so each company's ranked them, and we've got an average. And tomorrow, in fact, we're having an Influence Council face-to-face meeting here.
What session is that?
It's at 12:30 tomorrow, up on the 3rd floor.
Right.
So we'll
Check your session guide.
Check your
agenda.
session guide. I don't remember the session number off the top of my head, but the bottom line is over there we're going to talk about what the SCM Influence Council, and then we're going to talk about the ranking process and how we're going to take these forward to SAP.
It's going to be the first time that we've shared the results of the ranking process for those members that are here. And it'll give an idea for those who are new to the group, who came in for the introduction tomorrow, to understand the type of topics that we're talking about. So,
Are you still? You're still accepting new people?
Absolutely.
Who would like to be involved?
Absolutely.
Right.
And we have not finished all of our discussion topic reviews, right? So as each company pulled together their topic list, we did a detailed review on our monthly working sessions so that everybody really understood what the topic meant and what was intended by whoever submitted it. We haven't made it through that process completely yet, although we have finished up the SPP topic, so that's why we're focused on the rankings there. But we still have a lot to share in the CRM space.
And then once those rankings are done, you're handing it off to SAP?
Yeah, after we've consented on it, we'll send it off to SAP.
That's where Brian comes in to help us make sure that the SAP team understands what the requirements are that we're asking for, and hopefully get some positive feedback on getting some of those adopted into standard. One unique aspect that I'll mention about this Influence Council is because SPM is the integrated solution that I talked about, one of the components I mentioned is EWM. Well, obviously, there's a lot of EWM customers
Which
out there
is
above and beyond.
no, EWM is
Oh, extended warehouse management.
Extended
I'm sorry.
warehouse management.
And there's a lot of EWM customers that are out there above and beyond just the service parts management space. And there's already a very mature and very productive influence council
Yes.
in that space as well. So one of the things that we do within the SPM Influence Council, if we identify core EWM topics, we have liaisons that are also participating in that EWM session as well.
Okay,
so that
great.
we're not covering those within SPM, we take them back to the base Influence Council.
And each company has multiple. Most of your companies have multiple participants in this council.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we're up to usually 30 to 50 participants, 12 companies on a call.
On each call.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And do you have any other like expectations or out of this council? Or
Well, we're
you
still
haven't
in the
expressed
initial
it?
stages, so until we hand it off to SAP, we're hopeful all of them get in and they all get done. So that's where we're at right now.
Okay.
But we would like to get more companies to join. I think as the product spreads, we'd like to become a bigger influence council.
And that's one of the benefits of ASUG is as a member, you get to join these influence councils, have real impact into solutions that SAP provides. So it's a way to get your voice heard and your needs reflected into the products. Right?
Absolutely.
And from everything I've heard and even experienced in my prior influence council, this is the way to influence SAP. And even our SAP partners themselves, Brian Sharnock and other SAP team members I've worked with say this is the forum. They want us to bring this stuff through to make sure we've got the joint voice of multiple customers on what really needs to drive the product forward. So.
Yeah. And SAP does listen to our customers, and these councils are that perfect avenue to bring them in. That's great.
Excellent.
And I was so excited. I wanted to bring you guys in. I know it's early in the Influence Council, and you haven't delivered our results yet. But next year, I'm sure we'll have another interview
High expectations.
Yeah.
that wraps up in the deliveries, and we'll have maybe we'll have some big spread PowerPoint to show the benefits.
That'd
right?
be nice.
So thank you guys for coming in, sitting into ASUG News Studios, and this is David Shuston. Stay tuned for other ASUG News events. Thank you.
Thank you.